Hey, what's good? What's good? Welcome to the Papa Keith Podcast Network. I'm so excited on another episode of Make It Make Sense. Well, that's the whole theme of it, but it's called the Common Sense PhD. I swear I have a PhD in common sense. It's just some gift that I've had ever since I was a little kid. But I would just look at things so simply, you know what I mean? And it's helped to navigate me through thus far. So I wanted to share these moments with some very special and amazing guests. And for episode 4, I'm happy. I kind of ran into this lovely situation. My audience knows I'm very authentic and organic in how my approach is and how I tackle things. So I literally was recommended, Coach Cass, someone recommended, because I wanted my next guest to be a woman and I wanted it to be a woman that empowers other women. And when I came across a woman love coach, I was like, ding, 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 ding. So let me give her an introduction so she can start speaking and we can get things rolling. Dr. Cassandra Coach Cass Enriquez is America's go-to love coach, helping successful women over 40 stop repeating toxic dating patterns and finally choose love that protects their peace. She's a certified matchmaker dating coach, TEDx speaker, best-selling author of Wanted Women, featured on NBC, Cosmopolitan, Fast Company, and Black Enterprise, was the founder of the Wanted Woman Movement, the Real Love Network, and host of the annual Wanted Women Live Experience in South Florida. She blends strategy, soul, and straight up truth, which I love, to help high-achieving women move from confusion and situationships to clarity, standards, and real commitment. Part love coach, part truth teller, part don't text him back accountability partner, because around here, we don't chase love, we choose it. Welcome,
Yes.
Coach Cass. How you doing?
Thank you, Papa Keith. I'm so excited to be here. I'm really happy that you reached out, and I'm ready for anything you throw at me.
That's
Hey.
what's up. So I want you also to give an opportunity to I read your bio, of course, but I would love for you to tap in and talk about maybe just dig a little deeper on some things that you offer and how if people like what they hear today and our conversation, how they can, connect with you and be able to take things a step further.
Yeah, so what I know right now is everybody's a relationship guru, right?
Right.
And a lot of people see things on Instagram, on TikTok, and they take that and they try to apply it in their lives and it's not working. So
Mm.
literally, I have a proven system. I have an actual community. I have a coaching
Mhm.
program where I support women throughout the year. It's not a one-time thing. You could get a guy tomorrow, but what to do with him, right? So my main thing is being able to support women through those hard decisions of what serves them, because I would rather you be happy and single than be in a raggedy relationship, period. So I do have a free masterclass coming up on Tuesday. So if they go to wantedwoman.com/masterclass, they can come check me out. It's very simple. And I'm on IG at Inspire Many. We do so many amazing things, but the main thing is that I want you to have the kind of love that makes your heart smile and no longer settle.
That's what's up. So, real quick, and it's not even one of my questions, but just after hearing you say everything, why did you choose or why are you a woman's love coach and not a couple's love coach? Why was it important for you to just focus on women?
I really believe that women kind of set the standard for the relationship, right, Papa
Mm,
Keith? And
mm,
I believe I wanna decrease the divorce rate, especially amongst our Black families. And where does that start? Women choosing better,
ah,
having higher standards, having real conversations. I have had hundreds of conversations with women that knew they shouldn't have walked down the aisle with somebody, that knew they shouldn't have been in that relationship, that knew they shouldn't have been in that situationship, and yet they stayed, right? Not 10 years, but like 20 years. Like I work with a lot of women over 40, 50, 60. It's just like, golly, sis, what were you doing, right? Oh, I was told to stay. Stay in what, right?
right,
So
right, right.
I really believe that if I work with single women from the beginning, right, even if that beginning is because they were divorced or widowed or maybe never been married, it's like when you choose better, because what I find is that we weren't taught how to date. right? There's
At
a lot of things in
all,
society that
coach.
talks about bringing the plates, who pays for the bill, and that's like kind of where it stays. You know what I mean? Like who's paying and who's bringing the plate. And I'm like, there's so much more to relationships than that. And we just weren't taught it. So this is just like a safe space that I feel works well with women because I feel like women really are the ones that set the standard for the relationship and men step up who want to step up.
Got you. Perfect explanation. Thank you. I think it's the perfect way to get started because now people can kind of understand some of the direction that we'll go into because I'm kind of all over the place. And just so you know, I also use this as an opportunity for my own therapy. Interviewing people and interviewing professionals like yourself, I get to
Yeah.
get some answers to some questions I have in my own life, which I'm sure people also share, similar sentiments, right? So you teach women how to attract healthy love. What's the biggest lie modern dating keeps selling women?
Oh, there's so many lies that modern dating.
Where do I
Oh
start?
gosh. So I think there's a lie of there being no more good men, right? Like there's this like overarching thing about there's no more good men. And let me tell you about my story, right? Keith. Once upon a time, I was dating a guy I thought was the one, right? We were dating for almost 2 years. And one Christmas Eve, I got a call from a mutual friend. He said, "Hey, are you sitting?" I said, "Merry Christmas." He's like, "Yeah, that's not why I'm calling." I said, "What's up?" He said, he's married.
Wow.
My whole heart shattered, and I walked away from that relationship to the woman that I am. But, how many times have we made decisions and it's like it still looms over your head, kinda like Linus and Charlie Brown, right? Like, it's still there, still wanna cry yourself to sleep. My defining moment came when maybe I got my 29th wedding invitation. Everybody was getting married. It didn't matter the age, the stage, the weight, the race, nothing. Even Toothless Willie got somebody. I mean, like, what's up with me, right? I'm cute, you cute, why this not working? And I realized that I was raised by some very independent women, right? My mother's Jamaican, right? You study a book, right? That's what you do, right? Like that's it. But I realized that that wasn't the thing that I needed. Decided to draw a line in the sand, and I decided not to look back but go forward. Didn't want to turn into a pillar of salt. If you know, you know, right? And I started to read books, like 100 books on love. I went to marriage conferences as a single woman. I interviewed couples who had been married for over 25 years but still liked each other
Mm,
because I saw that I was surrounded by married people that really didn't like each other. I said, y'all ain't selling this
right.
at all. I interviewed successful women who were successful in career and business, but not in love. So I started to think you couldn't have the both of them at the same time. So I had to unwire, I had to rewire, I had to seek out what I didn't see, right? And in doing that, I attracted amazing love, but that didn't come without bumps, bruises, toxic relationships, situationships, staying too long, all of that madness, right?
Right.
Trauma to the umpteenth degree. And once I got in my amazing relationship, I am married, right? I know there's a lot of relationship experts out here, ain't never been in a relationship. So, I've married, I'm coming up on 11 years, have a beautiful baby girl. And what I found is that a lot of professional women are so focused on their career and they're like, oh, love will come, but when? And then on the other side, they're praying for their Boaz, but this don't go outside. So
Mm,
how does this work? Right? Even Ruth was laying at the man's feet, like, what's going on? She was out in the field, she was like, hey. So literally, I feel like right now there is this myth that there are no more good men. I just had a master class today, and one of the things that I asked the women was like, when was the last time, how many times have you gone out in the last 30 days? Because a lot of people say, I don't do apps. Okay. How many times have you gone out in the last 30 days? Zero. One. Who you mean? Who?
right, right,
And if
right.
you're down in the supermarket, like that don't count. Like I don't want to hear it anymore about there being no good men. You're not gonna find them sitting on your couch.
No, that's a fact. And what I would add to that probably too is that, yeah, what type of man are you looking for? Because I think a lot of women have, delusions of grandeur where they want these extremely high value men. So you're picking from the 1 percentile. so if, so if you're only considering high value men as good men, then you're making the pickings extremely thin, you know?
I just got a problem with that word, high value man. What makes a
You
man
just don't like
high
you
value?
just don't like Kevin Samuels. Go ahead and tell me.
Yeah. You already know. Rest in peace.
I
I am
appreciate
done with
I
that.
appreciate your honesty, Coach Cass.
I don't. Pure foolishness. But it's like,
we we can move on. We can move on.
okay, all right. Let me sip my
Um,
water.
so a lot of successful women, say they can't find good men. Is the dating pool, like we just discussed, is the dating pool really broken, or are expectations changing?
So I would say more women are looking for a man on their level, quote unquote, somebody with intellect, somebody that they can, take to the gala, somebody that can fix the car, somebody that can hang out with the family. They want a chameleon. They want the man that could do all the things and also pay. There's the dream of having all the things, right? But in terms of expectations, I would say that their expectations don't line up with their actions.
Mm.
So sis may say, I want a man with all of this, but then who does she actually spend time with? So the reason why she's tired of dating is because she continuously chooses someone she actually doesn't like, but that is there, right? I speak
Mm.
to a lot of women. And I'm like, well, what was it that made you want to be with him? And she's like, Coach Cass, he called, he texted, he was there, and it's just we got choices. Can we not act I call it the last man standing syndrome. Like, can we not act like this man is the only man, the last man, which goes back to the whole thing of we weren't taught how to date. We weren't taught how to date more than one person. We just know how to, "Oh, I like him. This is."
That's so interesting, right? Because I don't think women understand, that's like convenience, right? But I don't think a lot of women understand that they get judged by that. You see what I'm saying? So, like, for instance, if you just grab that guy because he was there, me as another guy looking at you, that's now your standard. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to even want to be associated with you if that's your standard. You know what I mean? What do you think of that?
It's true. Like we have to raise the standard in real life. We have a lot of rhetorical conversation and people will go crazy all in the chat about what they need and what they want. But when I talk to them in the depths of their soul, who they really spending time at 11 p.m. with,
Yeah. Yeah.
doesn't even come close to what their standard is. And it's more of convenience. So yes, this
Yeah.
has to raise her standards and actually stick to them. That part.
Thank you, Coach Cass. I love the fact you said that part as well. What's one dating habit women think is helping them, but it's actually pushing healthy relationships away?
I think it's the game of I'm not gonna call him, right? I'm not gonna be too into him. Like, if you're actually feeling someone, it is okay to show interest. Like, men wanna feel like you're feeling them as well, right? So, you over here trying to play cat and mouse or coy or all these games he's not that into you, all that stuff, it's like, if you like someone, let them know. If you don't like them, walk away. The dating habit is you stay too long with somebody you're not feeling, and then you play games with the one that you are feeling because you're not even used to the person liking you back, right? So I get that a lot. Oh, Coach Cass, the person I like doesn't like me back. It's only the jokers that I don't like that are chasing me, So then we end up playing this weird game and we get really shy and intimidated. Yes, even the confident women feel really unconfident. That's not a word. They do not feel
Kind of.
confident when it comes to a man that they're really into. They start to act up in a way that is unlike them just because they don't wanna mess it up. And here's the thing, you can't mess things up with the right person. I just need you to genuinely be yourself. And if you're starting to say, "Well, myself it keeps repelling people," then there's some things you need to work on, and let's not play around. I usually tell my clients, look at the complaints of the last 3 men that you were dating. If there is a theme there, I need you to look in the mirror, right? It's not by osmosis. They weren't calling each other up. So if they all 3 of them were saying, "Sis, you are intimidating. You don't make any time for me." I have a feeling, sis, that you are intimidating and you don't make any time for him. So maybe there's something that needs to change in your life. And you're like, "Oh, I gotta work all the time." Sis, it's time to make a change. Gotta make a change, right? You gotta make a change for once in your life if you want something different.
I did see the Michael movie, so I like that. It was so good.
It
So,
was.
so I want to add something on to that as you say that. Do you think women have a problem with accountability?
Women have a problem with vulnerability.
Mm,
Right? Because they've been hurt so many women, right? This is like a blanket statement.
yeah.
But so many women have been through some sort of trauma that when I show you what I'm really seeking or I really want or what I'm not getting, or where my heart on the sleep, like so many times they've been hurt
Mm.
that they don't know how to then say, this is what I need and this is what I want because they're afraid of that rejection. So I think they're afraid of vulnerability. I think they're afraid of rejection. I talk a lot about this in my book, but I feel like they're afraid of all of those things that then go into the accountability because it's like, "Oh,
Mm.
you actually didn't want me to do what I said I was gonna do." You're so funny because at the end of the day, with love, it's hard to have a ROI. It's hard to say,
Mm.
"Okay, well, Imma go out 3 times this weekend, and Imma meet my husband on Sunday afternoon at this brunch." So then it's also that energy spent, right? So then they're also tired. And Papa Keith, I put on heels. I put on my lipstick. I put on my girdle. You know what I mean? I got my hair, my nails did. I would have rather been on the couch in some sweatpants, but I went outside and I even talked to people that I didn't know. And not one man came up to me, right? Here I was with my chicken wing and my wine glass. And not one man said hello while I talked to my 5 girlfriends in the corner. Not one man said hello to me. It's like she's
Yeah.
waiting on that old school man to approach, not remembering that men are also introverts and extroverts, and not everybody's
That
charismatic
part.
to come be like, "Hey, baby, let me hold your arm back at, like, stages." You remember stages?
Yep.
"Hey, baby, walk on." Like, not every man is gonna do that, and if they
You did
did
not say stages. I love it. For real. That was a good one. Um, in your opinion, how much damage has dating apps done to real human connection?
I don't think dating apps get a really bad rap. A
Mm.
lot of my ladies, right? A lot of my clients have found love, real love through apps, and it's because they're busy. So when you start to look at your schedule and you're pinpointing events to go to, it's really hard. And a lot of these speed dating events, it'd be like 90 women and 10 men, right? So you try to go out and you don't see what you're looking for, so you get sad. But then you get on the apps and hey, there might be some things. Now, you have to be taught how to do the apps because, let me tell you the script. Here is the catfish script. They live in Turkey. They're on an oil rig. They're on assignment. They're a widow. Their daughter is missing. You know, their phone don't work. The FaceTime camera don't work. They can't call you on camera. If any of that goes down, just go ahead and block it. The problem with dating apps and the problem with women and the problem with people as they swipe is how offended they get by the profiles. How dare this website think that I would be interested in this? Didn't they see my parameters? Listen, it was all marketing. It's all an algorithm, and you just have to keep swiping. My whole thing is don't get your heart into a swipe, just like you don't put a in Instagram or Facebook, you're not
Mm.
over there getting upset because stuff pops up on your feed. You just say, "Oh no, what's that doing there?" And you just say block.
Right,
It should be the
right, right, right.
same mindset when you're on the app. The problem is, oh, why would this ugly MFer be on my Instagram, on my Bumble? Like why would this 97-year-old white man with a big belly and taco meat on his chest really be on my thing? What is Match? What is eHarmony trying to say about me? So that's the thing. You can't take it personal. You just have to keep swiping. Just keep swiping. Just keep
Keep it
swiping.
moving. Keep it moving.
Mhm.
All right. So let me ask you this. What's the difference between standards and unrealistic expectations?
All right. So unrealistic expectations, 6'6", 7 figures, no baby mama drama, FICO score of whatever, 9 houses, Lamborghini, right? So unrealistic expectations that all of that and you will come together. Standards of the same faith, like man of character, pays his bills, stand on his 2 feet, cherishes you, you feel heard, you feel seen, those kinds of things. So I call it standards versus preferences. So you
Ah,
would prefer to
yeah.
have Idris Elba. Listen, I was talking to a woman the other day. She's 71. She's like, Coach Cass, this man is a mix of Billy D and Denzel. No, Billy D and somebody else. But it was like Billy D and some other person in that genre, right? She was just so excited, and she's here sleeping with this man, knowing that this man ain't gonna be her man, but she's having a good time, right? So sometimes you put your standards to the side because you're having a good time. But when you want to really have a good time in terms of a long lasting relationship, you got to put those standards back up, right? Like, what is it that you really want and having those hard conversations? I know you would prefer somebody that is fine as wine and all that stuff and very charismatic. But all I know is that every man that I ever dated that was fine as wine, and very charismatic and had the song he had the playbook, you know what I'm saying? Player from the Himalayas, you know what I'm saying?
Layers.
You have to look a little bit deeper at what your standards are. And what normally say is like, what are your core values, right?
Mhm.
Like, go there because one thing I know is as you get to know somebody and you feel a rub, more than likely their core values are not aligned with yours. And that's why you feel the rub. And I want you to pay attention to that. Dating is more about you than it is about him.
Wow. Because somewhere along the line, people started demanding emotional maturity from others while communicating exclusivity through cryptic Instagram captions. Have you realized those things, and what do you think of that?
We can't demand things through Instagram captions, yo. Like, I need you to have real life conversations. So what I normally tell my members is before you call a girlfriend and be like, "What you think this means? What you think when he said this? What do you think?" Go ask that man. If you need a decoding, call him up and be like, "Hey, so I was thinking about what you said earlier today. What did you mean by that?" And you shut up, okay? And let him speak, and then you listen, and then you take it for what he says. You don't go back and then try to reanalyze that. No, 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 no. What he said is what he said. More than likely, this man is telling you exactly what he needs, exactly what he wants. Now it's for you to decide, does this align with who I am, what I want? I believe every woman is a wanted woman. Women achieving new triumphs every day, right? So the fact that you are wanted, we have to figure out what you want. And is it aligned with what he wants so that y'all could come together? If not, then you say goodbye. And it is okay to say goodbye. That's another thing we don't know in our culture, right? It's okay to walk away. You're not hurting anybody. This is dating, right? Like you are not married. This is not your husband. And we need to stop treating it as such. That's the problem.
Good stuff. You coach women on love, but what's one thing men are starving for emotionally that society ignores?
Peace.
I'm gonna just let you fly with that one, Coach Cass. I'm gonna keep my
So
mouth shut and
I've been
I'm all
talking to
ears.
some so what I do with some of my VIP clients is I'll actually talk to their men, right? Just
Mm.
to get some feedback. And it's like, the ladies get mad at me because I don't tell them what their guys talk about, right? And they kinda just unload, and a lot of times it's just like, they want women to let them lead, and they want peace. And all that means is allowing him to make some decisions, right? And you have to listen into what decisions are important to him, right? So for my husband, the things of the house that are a certain dollar amount, I won't make those decisions without him. Otherwise, he ain't really pressed. Yes, I still bring him the plate at the family barbecue because it's optics. He's Haitian. Understood, right? But does he cook for me? Yes. Does he take care of the kid? Yes. Does he take care of the dog? Does he take care of the house? Does he clean? Yes, he does all the things. But we understand in certain environments, he wants to be the quote unquote man. Fine, right? So literally, what does peace look like to your man is what you have to understand. So I often tell my ladies, you have to become a student of the person you're with. What
Mm.
is it that makes them happy? So I just hosted with my husband the ultimate couples retreat. So this is a married couples retreat that we do. We just came back from Antigua yesterday. Um, one of the things that one of the men said is like, "Look, I just need food. Like I just that's all I need to make me happy. As long as there's food, I'm good." So it was just like a very strong conversation with his wife. Like, look, the man is simple. This is like caveman era. As long as he has food, you get everything you want. And she's like, "You know what? You're right." But she's been tending to the kids. She's been tending to the dogs. She's been tending to everything else. So then it's just like, "Oh yeah, I also got to tend to the man. What does he want?" My husband is also a food person, but guess what? I figured out that I don't have to cook it. Amen. So we got a service. And so I cook a couple times a week versus every day. And that made us both happy. You know what I'm saying? I'm not resentful. We're both happy. So I really find that men, it's a very simple things that make peace in the house, but you have to find out about your man. Not watch Instagram and YouTube to figure out what men and what they think is peace. No, no. Your man. You need to have a conversation with your man. And if you ain't got a man, then you pause and you wait until you get one to ask him, what does peace look like for him? Very simple. And a lot of times it means take the tone out your neck. Right. I don't know what it is, but men in tone, they have a hard time, and us ladies, we have a hard time saying things with butterflies. It's a hard mix, you know, that whole respect and love situation.
Yeah.
We wanna be loved, they wanna be respected. I know a lot of ladies like, "Well, Coach Cass, I need to be respected too." I get that, but at the core of it, if you feel loved, you give respect and vice versa, and so we gotta get off the crazy cycle, be able to have open and honest conversations, and if you can't have an open and honest conversation, then you need coaching, then you need therapy, then you need a support system, and then you just need to have a conversation with the man, and if he can't speak back, then maybe that's not the guy for you, and that's okay.
That's what's up. Thank you, Coach Cass. This is going great so far, man. I knew you'd be a gem dropper, so I'm very happy that I didn't lie. So let me ask you this: do you believe men and women are struggling equally in dating right now, or differently?
I think men are struggling in dating as well. It's tough out here, you know, like, when I talk to guys, they're having a hard time finding what they want, and remember, it's also, you know, that respect thing, right? A lot of women start singing that INDEPENDENT. Do you know what that means, right? So she's listing all her accolades, and she's like, "What you got?" You know, it's kinda like that, bad video, you know, like the 2 gangs on one
Yeah.
side, right? So we here, everybody's coming with their, "What do you bring to the table?" So we're getting caught up on, the frivolous things and not really getting down to the heart of what we need, and I find a lot of men, you know, especially in today's society with, Orangina in office, that, you know, money can be a little bit of a struggle, so then men are so
Mm.
focused on getting their money right that it's kinda hard for them to focus on dating for real, right? They could date for fun, no problem, but dating to build a house, a home, there's so many, prerequisites that men have in their minds that they need to do beforehand. Like, I have a friend right now, he's, "Oh, I gotta buy the ring, but I can't propose yet because we gotta do this, and there's this." Like, there's all these financial prerequisites. Another man's, "Oh, I gotta get my credit score up." It's like, "Dude, she wanna marry you. Y'all could build credit together." You know, it's a lot of weight for men, so I say they struggle differently. I think the weight is more on the finances, the being able to provide, the being able to look the parent or the family in the face and say, "Okay, I'm gonna take care of this person." It's one thing to love someone, but then to provide for them, that's a whole 'nother weight that men carry that women don't really carry. And she might say, "Oh, but you know I'm good." But you know, in her heart of hearts, she really don't wanna work that hard.
Mm.
Sis been working. She wants a man that really could take a load off of her and not add a weight. She doesn't want a child. So it's all of that, I think, is where that struggle comes in for men.
That's what's up. You mentioned something about you sang it, and I in the independent women, and I always had this thought, from a little bit of experience. When you talk about independent women, and and with women with really good jobs and nice cars, and they can handle themselves and stuff like that. With dealing or dating those women, that it's from a man's perspective, a lot of times it's just being able to say that, oh, she drives this, or oh, she has a nice job. But women's money, when they're successful or high value, it's still their money, and it doesn't transfer over to me in any shape or form. You understand what I'm saying? So in my mentality and how I think of things, I actually have more empathy for, a teacher, a nurse, or a post office worker, because at least I feel as though like they would appreciate what I'm bringing to the table a lot more versus these high value women that have all these things, and I still am paying for everything anyway. So it doesn't serve me any benefit. So I'm like, "Pfft, you could take your degrees and you could take your titles and you could go on with that, because it doesn't serve me other than to be able to say, oh, I'm dating a doctor, or I'm dating a lawyer, or I'm dating, whatever."
I often tell my clients, stop with the vacations, right? If you're trying to get married, if you are dating a man that, you know, maybe 6 figures, maybe, right? And you're trying to go on 4 vacations a year, and each of them is 2 to 5 grand each vacation, plus concerts. You know, we just got a suite for Chris Brown, right? So that's $800 a head. It's just like all this stuff adds up, and you're trying to get a what kind of ring? You know what I mean? I'm like, you have to put your priorities in place. Just tell him, hey, I'm gonna go. to Barbados with Coach Cass real quick. I'll be back, right? And you don't take the pressure off these men to pay for all of these trips. Because if you're really trying to get married, right? Married, he needs to put the money together for the things, right? For the house, for the ring, for the wedding, for the all the things. Because I know you don't want him in your house. I know you want to buy a new house. We have all these thoughts, right? But then how is it really supposed to happen? And you wonder why you're in a 3 to 5 year relationship that hasn't transitioned yet because you're trying to live the life of Instagram, right? Be on the yacht and all the things, and you're not dating a multimillionaire because even a million ain't real money anymore, right? So we just have to start realistically looking at dating and our expectations and not be so caught up on the $500 dinner. I'm actually I don't want a man spending $500 on a dinner, right? Like if you have a regular 9 to 5, then I'm worried about your spending habits. You know what I mean? So you have to really start thinking about what is more important to you. And I know you want the vacations, but one thing I told one of my ladies is like, I have a feeling that you're a little resentful because she'll chip in for the trip and maybe he'll pay her back and all of that. She's
Right.
like, "You right." I said, "So stop, right? He's already said he wants to marry you in a certain timeline, but what he doing? Getting his money together. And if you continuously spending this money at a large, extravagant way, you wonder why things are delayed.
Yeah.
Okay, and you demanding the ring ain't helping, and you paying for your ring is just ghetto. So let's just take a pause, and y'all could do the vacations when your finances come together. Y'all could properly budget. I tell every couple to go through Financial Peace University, like old school Dave Ramsey 9 week course. Y'all talk about all the things because the way many of us were taught about money is ugly,
Yeah.
and I keep this pocket stash over here, and nobody knows about this, and I got this large lump sum debt that I'm embarrassed by it. I don't want to talk about, or maybe I'm trying to help my mom out or my cousin. I'm still waiting on cousin Ray to pay me back. All type of stuff. So we got to be able to talk through all of that. That's sexy. Having those conversations is sexy, and if you can't have them, then you have no business being in a relationship. Stay single.
All right, Coach Cass, this is awesome. We're about halfway through. I'm getting messages that in the chat that they're hearing the echo. So it's probably that same thing. Let's see if we could try to fix it and then pick back up. I want to say thank you to everyone, all the support. Thank you for keeping us real and honest. All right. We're going to pick back up right about now. I'm here with Coach Cass. She's a woman's love coach, and she's dropping some gems that's going to educate some of you amazing women that's tapping in and watching this. And of course, a lot of us men who also want to understand things a lot better and clearer and maybe pick up some tips on how we could do better and make things easier for the women to help us, right? So as we continue, the next question. A lot of people say that they want love, but secretly they're addicted to chaos. How can someone tell the difference?
So my Once a Woman Live that I do in October in South Florida, that was a whole theme last year, peace versus chaos. Because the more I spoke to professional women about having a peaceful relationship, the more I started to realize they had no idea what that felt like, what that looked like, what that experience was. Even romantic comedies, all it shows is chaos, right? Like think about it. Someone needing rescuing, some crazy stuff happening, a slap, a walk away, a closed door, a run back. I remember when I first started dating my husband, we got in an argument and this man stormed out of my apartment. 5 minutes later, I hear a knock at the door. Do, 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 do. He's like, "You didn't run after me." I said, "What does it look like?" What does it look like? You want me to hang on to your ankle and say, "No, baby, no, baby, please." Like this is
You wanted
not
you,
TV.
Gina.
This
He wanted you
this
to
is
play
not
Martin.
TV, right? We literally have not been taught how to have peaceful relationships. For the majority of y'all that are tuning in either live or replay, right? When you start to think about the couples you've been surrounded by, more than likely the majority of them is straight chaos. So this is a whole new understanding, something new to learn, something new to embody because next time you talk to somebody on the phone, just call them up. I want you to set a timer for how long it takes for them to start complaining about something. right? Something they don't have, something they don't like, something they don't want. And so the majority of conversations have turned into commiseration versus celebration. And that's a problem just overall with people. So I just want to say that yes, we want more peace, but we have no idea what that feels like. So then we gravitate to chaos because that's like a safe place. So we have to do better at rewiring and learning how to operate in peace in order to allow it in. And even peaceful men
So
seem
good.
boring. That's another thing, right? Papa Keith, let's keep it real. The peaceful men are the ones that seem boring. Like, oh, I don't want that. That's a herb. I don't even know if they say herb anymore, but that guy is whack. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want that dude. You want the guy with swag, the one that kind of looks like he might get arrested tomorrow. It's just like this doesn't help real future goals, right? This is what I talk about, the actions not being in alignment with what they say they want, right? Straight lies.
For real. For real. Thank you so much. Can healed people really date healed people successfully?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tap into this one.
Go ahead. What you got?
All right. So I feel personally that part of my love language is to be able to heal others, from their traumas, from things, because I have a lot of patience.
Mm,
So because of that, patience is like my superpower.
yeah.
And in order to deal with trauma or people who've been through trauma, gotta have patience. That's like the key component. So I always felt like it was like a gift of mine to be able to do that for women. But my goodness, I didn't realize how much of a toll as a not, as an unprofessional
He's
therapist
like, "Here is my
that
invoice."
for real it has taken on my life. Not even just with one person. I would just say over a period of time. Like I'm now in my life right now looking back like, wow, like amazing women, but like I can't believe that this was my way of life.
Okay, so I get that. So let's talk about it, right? So I do feel like unhealed people can be with healed people. I'll tell you when I first started dating my husband, I told you the story of what I had been through. So trust wasn't a thing. We went to a family's game night and he went out on the phone. He didn't go out the room. He went out the house on the phone. I was like, oh hell, here we go again. Right. Here he
Mm,
go. Right. So a good like 15, 20 minutes passed. I was like, I'm gonna go check on him. So I went out. He was sitting in his car. And I'm just standing in front of the car thinking that I looked calm as can be, right? So he wound down the window, old school wind down. He wound down the window, stuck his head out the window, and was like, Cass, I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy. And he wound the window back up. I picked my face up and I went inside and I said, you know what? I'm no longer going to hold against him what another man did. This man has shown me nothing for me not to trust him. So that's when I decided I was going to give trust. And that transformed the way I dealt with him, spoke to him, questioned him. Sometimes y'all be out here interrogating like the private investigator you just met, dude. Like, hello, can we not treat him like that? Like he's on a murder trial, you know what I'm saying? Like prosecution, cross-examination. So it changed everything. But how we got there is I was vulnerable enough to share what I had been through. And then he was kind enough, just like you said, right? You have a superpower, right? To not throw it back in my face, to not be like, that's why you jacked up and got trust issues. He ain't paying me Drake. You know what I mean? So it's very important that that on both ends that you're able to respect each other's journey and be there to kind of support each other through it. For instance, I have a client that decided to make a relationship contract with her man, right? That was something they decided on. And he asked her a specific question. And she was like, you know what? I don't have an answer for that because what I know, the reason why I don't like somebody to violate my privacy is because my ex-husband was always violating my privacy. I didn't feel like I had any privacy. He worked for Homeland. You know what I'm saying? So he was all in the business. And so
mm.
she was like, I have to think about that deeper. So then it's also being able to be honest and say, okay, it's okay if I don't have the answer today. Allow me to process really how I feel, not based on the last man, but based on how I feel with you. So it's so many things. And yeah, it's multi-layered.
Yes. Thank you so much. What's your response to people who say there's no good men left, and you did touch this before,
Yeah.
or there's no good women left?
Yeah, so when they talk about no good men left, I want you to close your eyes and think about somebody right now that just got married, that just got in a great relationship, that you're actually excited for. Somebody in your life has entered a great relationship in the last year or two that's in your same demographic, that's in your same town, that has your same circumstance. It's an excuse, right? And the excuse is because you're kind of sad that it hasn't happened for you yet. Let's be real. Whether you're a man or a woman, you start to wonder how come everybody else is chosen but me. And that's real. And a part of you doesn't want to die alone. And it starts to get scary when you start to think of, wow, like who's going to take care of me? Who's going to be there for me? The kids have left the house, right? If you had kids, right? The parents are now, unfortunately, leaving this earth. And you feel like an orphan and you start to wonder, like, will I find my person or do I commit my life to like good service and, getting some cute kids or cute animals or cute whatever, you know what I mean? Like get a farm tree, buy a farm, I don't know, move out the country, like, start a new life. And so instead of avoiding it by burying yourself in busy, I invite you to start looking at what are you actually doing to attract love? Who do you actually entertain in your everyday life and do they deserve to be there? Because a lot of times you got what I call space fillers. So you got some folk filling the space that should be a real relationship, but instead you're holding these jokers in place and you wonder why you're upset, right? You got Joe, you got Shanika, I'm sorry to Joe and Shanika, these are just random names, right? But you got these individuals that are just there and ain't nothing happening with them. So a part of it is scary to clear the space and make room for love. There has to be space
Mm.
there for someone else to step in. You can't be out here chatting it up every night at 9 p.m. with the same person, thinking you're gonna have time to talk to somebody else. You're gonna be like, oh, I'm so tired. That's because you just spent all night talking to Joe. Joe ain't got no business on your phone. I don't care if he's your best friend since elementary school. Stop that, right? You got to start making room for love.
Thank you so much. Touch on the women, a little bit more in terms of like, are there any good women left? Like, and
Yeah.
maybe how what the perspective is on that.
Yeah. So I believe so, but that's mainly because I work with women every single day and they're absolutely phenomenal. They really are. So to the men, I want to check y'all on what you've been looking for. A lot of guys I talk to, they looking for the long hair, big booty, totally fit, and sir, you haven't seen a gym since 2022. So it's really starting to look at what's realistic aside of just the aesthetic. Because there are good men and good women out here that don't fit the TV stereotype, but they're amazing. Yes, we want people to take care of their health and care about themselves, but are we being realistic with the bit bam boom? And more of, like, how do you connect? Is she kind? Is she loyal? Does she love you? Does she show that? How does she take care of you? These are the things that we forget about way too often. And the cooking thing, I know that's a big thing, but listen, no woman, like, unless she wanted to be a chef, in her heart of hearts was 5 years old saying, you know what, I want to wake up every morning and I want to figure out the menu for my family. It's like a bane of many women's existence, the question, what's for dinner? You know what I mean? So being able to come together of what a partnership could look like between you is a lot more feasible than just looking for someone to take care of you because then she'll think that you're looking for your mother and that's what your mother is for. You know what I mean? Like and is, so many women are not looking to be a nurse or a purse. They're seeking companionship. And I would say a lot of good women are still available, but sometimes you do have to have those extra deep conversations and not only lead with trying to run your hand up her thigh. There's so
Mm.
much more to life than good sex. And the average sex act is like 4 minutes. So the way we get on in society about sex is just so crazy to me because it's just like, sir and ma'am, like, it really don't take that long. You know what I mean? So unless you're into some tantra stuff and that's a whole nother situation, right? But it's just really and truly sex is just a part of what makes life so great. But when you get with the right person, it's explosive in a whole nother way.
Do you think there's any time limit to fall in love with someone?
Time limit?
Yeah, meaning like there's no way you could be in love with someone in a week. There's no way you could be in love with someone in 2 weeks. There's no way you could be in love with someone or fall so deep or fast in love with someone in a month.
Listen, I definitely think that there's infatuation and lust and, just the fairy tale thing of it all, right? So I know many people that rush into relationships because they feel like they found someone, right? Hey, you like my color, I like that color, right? You like the same faith, you like the same TV show. You laugh at my jokes, you asked me how my day was. For some people, they haven't been treated that well in their lives. So anybody that comes along will seem amazing, right? I just had a client that had a guy was like, "Oh, you my wife," right? But when she spent enough time with him, she was like, "I don't like this dude," right? No matter who, when I was dating a man, several men told me, "God told me that you were my wife." I was like, "God ain't tell me nothing," right? So it sometimes it could be a little bit scary when individuals say things like that, like, "Oh, I just know you're the person for me." Like, time will tell. Allow me to get to know you. My problem is when we rush into things too quickly and when we don't involve the people that are closest to us. So, for those of you listening, I want you to start to think about who are the important people in your life and how do you involve them in this process? Because I'm going to tell you right now, like for me, when my husband and I got married, it was like a family reunion on both sides. We got married, destination wedding in Mexico. 80 people came from different sides. They would complain and come into the wedding. After the wedding, they were like, "Oh, when's the anniversary trip? Can we come?" Right? And then now when anything we have is happening, everybody show up because they want to see so and so on his side. My people want to see his side. It's like we're a family and we forget about this in dating. We have these silo dating experiences. It's kind of like old school courting, right? But it's like, right, new age. Oh, I like you, you like me. We engage tough-ish to the people who don't know or don't care or don't want to. I'm like, no, involve the kids, involve the family. This is your friend. It don't got to be your man. It don't got to be your woman. Like this is someone I'm getting to know, and that should be okay. And check your family on boundaries and all that stuff. It's just like it should be okay to introduce family to people that you're not that serious about because they see things that you don't see. Hello, and then you also want them to get to know this person just like you are. Have their own relationships as you decide this is my spouse, they should be like, "Oh, she could come over anytime. Oh, he could come over anytime. Oh, that's a good man, Savannah." You know what I mean? And it's not just the accolades, but really how this person shows up continuously. So dating is a process that's not just between two people, but between you and the people that are closest to you to really form bonds so that when you have holidays, you don't have to choose. Everybody could come together. You see what I'm saying? Like all this
Yeah.
choosing sides and who spends which holiday where, like everybody could come. Like I spend all my holidays with all the family. Everybody can come. Everybody's invited at a birthday party. People be like, "Yo, where's your dad? Why you ain't bring your dad?" You know what I mean? It's a beautiful thing when your family and your friends could come together and you're building a life, not just a sexual kinship in the dark. If that's what you're for, then that's what you're for. This ain't your podcast episode. This is for the people who are more marriage minded and want a true commitment. It's like stop thinking about just you, and what does the whole life look like? And how do you build a life with someone versus just a one-time situation?
I love it. And you're absolutely right. And I move in that same fashion. My mother's my litmus test. You know what I mean? So I totally understand what you're talking about there. Um, how important is femininity and masculinity in modern relationships?
Hallelujah, right? This feminine, masculine. Ooh, you gotta be feminine. You gotta put on a bustier and a tutu. You gotta walk around in a robe and spritz sage, right? And then the men, you gotta step up. You gotta talk with a deep voice. You gotta pay bills. Man, it is so stressful, right? Because majority of the women I work with, they're in masculine roles, right? So they're VPs, CEOs, lawyers, partners. You know what I mean? Like they doing the things and they have to lay down the law in the boardroom. But when they come home, they would like to be feminine. But the question is their man manning up? Right? Or do they still have to make all the decisions because the man's just looking for somebody to take care of them, which is just another thing to do for our ladies. So the dynamics of the feminine masculine is more of a conversation. Women can rest in their feminine majority of the time, if there is a man there to be masculine, to take care of the
Mm,
things. But if she
mm,
consistently, right, has to take care of the house, the kids, the car, the schedule, the this, the that, like after a while, sis is rough. You could cut her words with steel. It's rough out here when a saw because literally what she's seeking is to be taken care of. But on both sides, we are all seeking to be taken care of. So, for instance, my husband, he's a person that doesn't do well with tone, right? Haitian man, I'm Jamaican, and Jamaican women, we could be a bit strong, right? Just a little bit. And so it is a constant conversation. I didn't say I had this down pack, right? I got the cute feminine clothes, but that still don't mean feminine is in here, right? So I stay working on it, right? So he'll be like, "Are you okay?" But he's started to study me, right? So we've been together like
mm,
14 years, but it's still like when you care enough to study your person, he has realized, wow, she's raised by a lineage of independent women. My grandmother just turned 91 today, right? And when she was 88, coming up from Jamaica, she had a big duffel bag. So coming out the airport, my husband's like, yo, grandma, let me carry that for you. No, man, I have it, right? And she's there dragging the duffel bag. Obviously, he helped her, but that was her natural state. I don't need no help from no man, right? I don't need your help. My mother, she could do everything all by herself, right? So when I'm making some decisions, he's just like, oh, I can see exactly where that comes from. It's a rewiring, right? It's a conversation like, hey, babe, next time, can we talk about this? It's like, oh, I didn't even think about that. Why? Because I have been raised by super independent women that had to do
mm.
all on their own, and the man was not there to help them out. Right? So we have to start thinking about these things of who are you with? What have they been through? What has the conversation been in their lives around relationship dynamics? But this is if you care enough, right? Is this the person that you want to be with, right? You want to dig deep, right? These are the things. Now, what makes me more feminine? Being on somebody's island like I just was yesterday, right? Being in a beautiful dress or in a pool with a nice drink and some jerk chicken looking at the beach, right? Of course, we can all be feminine in those environments where somebody else is waiting on you hand and foot. The room is clean. Somebody else comes in to clean it up. Of course, right? So how do we bring femininity into our normal lives? Get the house cleaner, get the chef, get the chauffeur. And if you can't do those things, like look at the little ways that you could bring joy into your life, because where femininity really comes in is where's the joy. And if you're not smiling every day or having peaceful moments every day, it is very easy to harden up. And for our men, we got to man up. I know for a fact that you probably have some enablers in your life, like your mother, like your sister, like your cousins, right? That will like I was talking to a guy, and he is consistently reminded by his family that his wife is lucky to have him.
Mm,
I'm like, that's not helpful, right? That's not
yeah.
helpful to the wife, right? So then that's how he acts. Like I'm the king of Zamunda and you're lucky to have me, right? That is not that is not being masculine. So to me, being masculine is being able to take care of the house in a way where your woman can feel the rest and the cradle and secure enough to just be. And let me tell you, the sex is even greater, gentlemen, when your woman can be like that. But she can't be like that if you're not taking care of things at home. Not just the bills, but literally the mental load that the whole internet is talking about. We got a lot on our minds. How do you help to alleviate that? Start to say, hey, babe, I was thinking for dinner tonight, I'm a cook, blah, blah, blah. You know how amazing that is? Let me tell y'all something. Like you thought about it, you bought the groceries, and you started it. Well, amen. It wasn't a conversation. Just think about the random questions you ask every single day. Could you just answer that yourself, sir? Right? And do something amazing and see what happens over time. Just look at the weight off her shoulders. They start to drop. And you're like, oh, girl, you looking good. You're looking real good. Mhm.
Great stuff. Great stuff. What's one sentence people should stop saying immediately in relationships?
I think it's more of the play by play. When you get in an argument and you're like, well, when you said this and you said this and then you did this. No, you didn't do that. No, I did this. Like when you get in that like replay, like you're trying to rewind the tape and it's based on people's memory, that doesn't help anybody. Get to the emotion, get to the feeling. I felt hurt because what I interpreted was. right? So it's not playing back what they said, because of course they're gonna be like, I ain't say that. Okay, well, when you said whatever you said, this is what I felt. And then for you to say, well, I'm sorry you felt that way is not the answer, right? When you're apologizing, and you could read Gary Chapman, I think, Five Apologies, right? Five Ways to Apologize. He's the same one that did Love Languages, right? So it's the five types of apologies. And you really want to look at when you're apologizing, be specific. I'm sorry for what I said when it did this, because my intention was not to hurt you. And that really hurts me that you were hurt. So, how can we go from here? What can we do to make it better? Right? Like those types of things. Like actually show that you care, right? That part.
Sometimes that seems like it's too much to ask.
It's rough out
We
here, yo.
we're gonna keep it on that topic. What's the biggest communication mistakes couple make during arguments?
Throwing old stuff in there, right? So you out here talking about not washing the dishes, and then you want to say, "Well, when you stood up to me against your mama, you know what I mean? Like you didn't take my side in 1967. Like these are not what we do, right? When an argument is done, it's done. I've been pretty good about this, right? Especially in the beginning, right? I'm not always perfect, but I will say that's one of the things I try to do, and my memory's kinda shot, but is not to bring up old stuff. So once you all have gotten through it, okay, I'll tell you this story, right? So me and Andy went on a mission trip when we were dating to Kenya, right? And we was staying with a family that I knew, like my boy I went to college with and his wife. And I got out the shower and I came down to the kitchen. I heard them kikiing, the two guys, just laughing in the kitchen. I'm like, what they laughing at? He was talking about his ex-girlfriend, y'all. And how she used to help some things with his mama and all. I was like, oh, hell no. This man is all the way in Africa. We in Kenya, right? Far from home. Had to go from Miami to Heathrow to Kenya in a bus for 4 hours to get into the bush. I don't even know where I am. I tried to throw breadcrumbs. Hansel nor Gretel would find me, right? So I'm out here in the bush and this man is talking about his ex. We are done, right? Done. So I remember going back into my room and slamming the door. And he was like, hey, babe, you okay in there? I was ice, silent, right? And he came back and I had already dragged him to a couple of workshops. So he was like, hey, how are you feeling? I was like, oh, he gonna ask that question. He gonna ask the good question. All right, fine. So we ended up talking it through. He apologized, all that stuff. By the next morning, we were laughing, right? And so my friend said, y'all gonna make it. And we said, why you say that? He said, it took me and my wife 2 years in therapy to figure out rebounding, right? The fact that y'all could be sitting here laughing the next morning, less than 24 hours, y'all gonna be all right, right? Too often do we also hold grudges, y'all. And I grew up with an aunt that wouldn't talk to her own daughter in her home for a month because she didn't wash the dishes. So that's the kind of dysfunction I grew up around. You know what I mean? Ice, the silent treatment, that stuff is deadly to your relationships. I want you to look up The Four Horsemen, right, by John Gottman. John Gottman is a relationship therapist, him and his wife, that would study couples over the span of 40 years, right? And every 4 years, he'd bring them into a love lab and just, say, bring up one point of contention. So this is just a regular apartment, and they'd have the EKG, and they take like a stress test, they take a blood test, they take a urine test, and literally they just see that couples literally every 4 years would have the same arguments. So some of these arguments are perpetual problems, like the shoes by the door, the underwear outside the hamper, like right next to the hamper, the dishes in the sink and not in the dishwasher. There's just some things that are going to be perpetual problems that you just got to be like, chalk it up to the game. Like, all right. So it's either you let it
Yeah.
bother you, or you just be like, that's just a thing. That's just a thing. Right. And then the other thing is the four horsemen are the things that he has delineated to say, I can tell if somebody is going to get divorced within 5 minutes of meeting them based on these four things. And just one of them is stonewalling. Stonewalling is where you can literally ice your person out and not talk to them for hours, days, weeks. That's not healthy for your relationship if you're actually trying to be in a relationship.
I call it the only child syndrome. But I will say this, here's my caveat. I do maximum output first. You know what I mean? So it's never my immediate action to hit the silent treatment. But if I feel like I'm repeating myself over and over or I'm not getting through, then that's when the Iceman comes out. But yeah. I know. You've helped a lot of women find marriage and commitment. What do healthy couples consistently do differently?
Say thank you 3 times a day, right? So healthy couples consistently, statistically shown, they look for 3 times a day to say thank you. Just think about it. The little things. Oh, you picked up the thing. Thank you for that. Oh, you swept up the driveway. Thank you for that. Like it ain't got really nothing to do. Oh, you took the dog out. Thank you for that. It's not like they did it for you, but they did something. Like say thank you, right? We become some well, I'm Jamaican. And thank you in my culture is like a right? Yeah, yeah, man, right?
You're done. You're done. No,
Yeah, yeah. Boop, boop. So it's like it's not really a thing to say thank you every 5 minutes. My husband's culture, it's like, look, when I hand you this plate, the word thank you as the plate leaves my hand needs to come out your mouth, right? Or it's a problem. I'm grateful, right? So I have been trained in the art of thank you since then. And you start to realize that, when you go out to dinner with folks and whatever, like people don't be saying thank you. It's just like a given, like, they got it. Yeah, wait, hold on, right? Where is the thank you? So the most successful couples say thank you. The most
that's what's
successful
up.
couples do date night, right? That's still like that adage, that old age thing, like going on a date night. That's a thing. And I really believe in trips. I really do. Like, so I host with my husband the Ultimate Couples Retreat, and we have a after party on Monday coming up. Y'all are invited, right? UltimateCouplesRetreat.com, right? We announce where we're going next year. But one of the things we do on this retreat is there are no workshops, right? Because I know some men or women don't do workshops, and we do like daily missions, and it's just about
Mm.
connection. Sometimes we think we have to go all deep with our spouse and dig up something that they did that bothered us. Like sometimes you okay to just have some fun. And so the most successful couples learn how to have fun with each other and not always bring up the hard stuff. I know the hard stuff is always there, the logistics, the children, the elderly, the bills, it's always going to be there. And I start to realize like God did not create us to be so stressed. So you have to find moments in your day where you could just smile and have some fun. And if you're in a relationship, like have fun with the person you chose to be with, because that's why you chose to be with them. Hello?
Good stuff. Well, what advice would you give someone over 35 who feels like love just might not happen for them anymore?
Man, so I was in Antigua the week before last because I was helping a friend with a book launch retreat. And this woman, 37, Coach Cass, I think it's all over for me. Ma'am, you got like another 50 to 60 years on this earth. You haven't even lived half your life yet. And you over here giving up, becoming a nun, getting a cat, 17 of them. I just don't understand. So I have an uncle that's 70 that's getting married again this summer in the Bahamas. Yeah, he's 70, right? So when we start to, I have a client that just got married, she's 52, right? So when we start to think about love and what's available to us, don't give up. Like we are too easy to give up because we can't control it. So what I say to you is that you got control issues. It needs to happen a
Mm.
certain way by a certain time or you don't want it. But for instance, I had a client that lost her job, right? So she was a big area manager doing all the things and she lost her job. And we saw a whole new
This
side of
is
her. We're like,
recent.
wait,
This is recently.
it is recently, like in the
Yeah.
last month or two, right? And she lost her job, and we're like, wait a second, who are you? Because she went from having RBF to just smiling all the time. We're like, who are you? And so what she realized is that her job was killing her, right? Like the job
Mm.
was so stressful that she couldn't even fathom going on a date because she was just woe out. She was woe out, and she got in a relationship since then. I'm talking about in the last 2 months. I'm like, wait a second, this is the same girl struggling to date. I can't do it. Never mind. I'm in a whole exclusive
Right.
relationship. Like, this is
Vibing.
bananas. So for my ladies who are 35, 45, 55, 65, like, literally, what are the excuses? More than likely, you don't go out. More than likely, you don't know how to talk to men. More than likely, you spending time with the wrong men. More than likely, you in the wrong circle. More than likely, surrounded by people that talk trash about relationship. More than likely, you've been up all night watching these Instagram reels instead of getting, like, real coaching from someone like me. You know what I mean? So it's more like you just doing the wrong thing. Your mama didn't teach you how to date. That's the problem, right? She didn't.
Yeah,
She didn't at
yeah,
all. She said bring
yeah.
home a good man eventually after you finish all these degrees, get all this money, stack your bank, da 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 da, da, get your prenup in order. Then she's like, all right, now you can find someone, dear. Or why don't you have
Yeah.
somebody? That's the thing. How contradicting, right? Then at Christmas, they're like, where's your man? Why you ain't got nobody? You be like, seriously? Where did you give me the playbook? You know what I mean? Which man did
Yeah.
you have? Yeah, you done had daddy for 57 years. Where's the playbook for that? Huh? I can't go down to the old mill to find somebody. All right.
The mill, not the mill. Coach Cass in the building. I got a couple more for you. You've been so generous with your time. Sorry for the mishap early with the echo, but we seem to have a great flow. I want to thank everybody real quick just for being patient with us in the chat room and the audience. Thank you so much for your feedback. Appreciate you. I'm growing this podcast week by week, and this, like I said, is therapeutic for me. And I really have some amazing guests coming on here, dropping some gems. And Coach Cass, I'm so happy that I have you on, and I just want to take a moment to say that. But as we continue on, that one hits deep. Half the internet is acting emotionally unavailable while privately watching wedding videos at, like you said, doom scrolling at 1, 2 in the morning, eating chicken wings in the dark. So we know what you say to be true, But if Coach Cass could give one final common sense PhD lesson about love and relationships to the world, what would it be?
Just let it rest on everything. I am not that profound. Here we go.
You
I
good,
really
sis.
bel I really believe that when love is at the base, everything else falls in place. So, if we start to act more with love, like, the more it'll come to us, right? So, being able to look in the mirror and say, "Where do I make room for love in my life? What relationships are truly important to me, and where do I make time for those?" And if in my hearts of hearts, I wanna be in a romantic relationship, where's the space for that? Where are the actions to that? And do I need help? And not judging myself for it, right? Because listen to me, I'm not that great of a cook. So what do? I go hang out with my husband's family to watch and figure out what they got going on. Me and my daughter, we watch videos and test out recipes. My mother would go to Costco and get the things and say, make it yourself. Like, so I wasn't raised by chefs, but I like it, right? Me and my daughter, this is how we bond, right? Trainer. I'm not I'm not the best fit person. So you hire a trainer, right? Nutritionist. If you eat bad, you nutritionist. Like, if you want to get better at something, you study it, right? You hire someone if you want to get there faster, quicker, better. If you want to be in a great community. So that's my only thing. Is like, there's nothing wrong with you if you decide to hire someone to help you with the most important area of your life. We downplay it, but I'm going to tell you right now, being in a great relationship impacts everything in a good way. And too often we buy into the nightmare, but what if you started buying into your dreams?
I hope that wasn't a drop the mic. It really sounded like one. Coach Castle, I'm gonna have you go. I'm gonna have you go down a little overtime with me. Just a few little rapid fire questions for you before I let you go.
I got
All
you.
right, is that cool?
Yeah,
All right, sounds good. Red flag or harmless? Checking your partner's location.
it depends.
Appreciate your honesty.
It's
Go
like,
for it.
listen, me and my husband got that Life 360 on lock. I know exactly where he is at every time. So it depends means we have to have a conversation about it. If it's cool, then it's cool. Like, that's a conversation that comes up in our community often, and it becomes something of safety. So I'm gonna say that it's a green flag as long as you've had a conversation about it, not in a stalker way where you planted something.
That's what's up. All right. Is soft life culture helping or hurting relationships?
I would say it's hurting because soft life kind of gets you in this place where you do nothing right? And relationship takes work, period, unless you're looking to just hire someone to be in a relationship with, and that's a whole nother kind of escort service type of thing.
Good stuff. Can relationships survive without physical attraction?
No, you need to be physically attracted or you won't fight for it. Like I have good friends that I ask all the time that do marriage counseling, like therapists, right? They're in the crux of people that are trying to get divorced. And what they have seen over the decades of them doing therapy, like two people, is that people who were never really attracted to each other don't fight for the relationship. So you still got to think that man or that woman is fine, right? Like if something has to be attractive to you in order to fight for it. Otherwise, you'd be like, they was ugly anyway. Bye.
Dead. Who falls in love faster, men or women?
The stereotype women.
Okay. All right. Uh, is being too independent ruining dating?
Yes. There has to be a codependence. Like, what's the point of dating or being in a relationship if you could do everything yourself? Then go be by yourself.
Say less. That part. Should couples go through each other's phones?
I don't see a problem with going through each other's phones just because my husband don't check his text message. So it's kind of like a once a week thing that I help him to say, you never responded to this person. You know what I mean? So for me, full transparency helps to keep the window closed and you don't want to crack the window. There's a lot of people out here that'll try you and try your relationship, right? And there has to be some level of transparency to say, this is what happened. This is what's going on. How should I respond? And you want to have that kind of dialogue. I don't think it's healthy to be like, no, you can't see my phone. No, you can't. Like, what exactly are you hiding? Like, my child can be on my phone and see everything unless I hit it. Right. So it's like being able to have a transparent relationship gets you a whole lot further. When you start saying, no, I don't want you to see my text, then what's in your text that's so unseeable? Mhm.
Mm. Would you say that's for a marriage or that could be for any type of
Well,
relationship?
I would say, yeah, deeper in the relationship. This is not just I just started dating you, hand me your phone, right? It's more of like in the exclusive relationship headed towards marriage, more marriage type of situation. Yeah. It's not like
Absolutely.
just dating. No. No.
That's what's up. Well, Coach Cass, that's all I have for you
That's
tonight.
it? You sure? You got
No,
all
you've
your
been
questions
great.
answered?
I did, and with the little mishap, I usually have it an hour, but we extended it, so I just want to thank you for for doing that.
You wanna
I
redo the
want you to.
intro just in case?
No, I got you. We got
Yeah,
this. We
okay.
got this. We got this. I just want to give you the opportunity and give you the platform to obviously let everyone know how they can support you. A lot of people who are in my chat, a lot of people who, rock with me know that if I bring somebody on, it's not just about collecting the information and running with it. It's about, spreading the word and how we could support you, how they can buy your book, where they can buy your book from, how they can go on that vacation with you and your husband at the couples retreat, how they can show up for you on Tuesday. We build community. That's what this podcast is meant to do, is to build community. So now you're an official member of the community. And I want to give you the platform to be able to share all the things with everyone that's listening now or later.
Okay, I appreciate that, right? So I do have a live event that happens in October 2nd through the 4th of 2026. Join me. This is specifically for professional women. It's in Hollywood by the beach, right? So it's 3 days where we just get to pour into you and we talk about dating, talk about relationships and how to really make this thing work. So for those of you listening in, $100 off with the code WWL26. You go to wantedwomanlive.com, right? Wantedwomanlive.com, right? So you could do that. That's my gift to you. I also have a free masterclass coming up on Tuesday, wantedwoman.com/class, right? So that's coming up 12 o'clock on Tuesday. And in terms of like trips, we travel, right? So I have a trip going to Barbados in February. I have a thank you, love. I have our ultimate couples retreat. We do have a wonderful session coming up on Monday. So if any of you are married, it's for married folk only. Okay. So that is coming up on Monday. We're announcing where we're going next year. And I'll tell you, almost all the couples have already signed up for next year. So we only have like 5 more spots left. So ultimate couples retreat. You can follow me on IG at Inspire Many. And the book, let's see. The book is on Amazon, right? wanted woman, right? So that's how it looks. That's me and my husband. It's not a model. I'm actually married. The Busy Woman's Guide to Attracting and Choosing a Love That Lasts. So y'all could cop the book. It's a great reminder of the things step by step of how to really build your confidence when it comes to dating, how to choose, how to create your love vision, all that good stuff. Even touches on what my TED talk is about, building a community of love. So yeah, I got a lot of stuff going on to support support the
You're
folks.
Jamaican.
I am Jamaican.
So that goes without saying,
I
right?
am Jamaican, you know what I'm saying? But just know that we got a live event, and if you really want support in your love journey, just message me. Let's have a conversation. We'll get on a sales call so that, I'll really look at what are the 3 main things that are your challenges, and that's where we'll start in terms of your treatment plan, for joining us in the Real Love Network, and that's the name of my community. Yes, I have 97 websites, and it's okay.
And also, please don't forget that, she also specializes in uh, being a woman's love coach, specifically for women that are 35 and older. A lot of you strong, amazing women going through this weird space in your life where you've accomplished all the things and you've done all the things, and you're like, okay, look, I have a great job, car, I have my own place. Why are things happening for me? And she's definitely there to help you work through those nuances and hopefully get you on the better side of love.
Yeah.
Correct?
Amen. Yep, exactly. And I got a free class coming up on Tuesday, so y'all can join me in the class. Just go
All right,
ahead.
that's what's up. Coach Cass, thank you so much. Stay on the line with me. Everyone else, I appreciate you. Next week, we do it again. Common Sense PhD podcast. Also join me Thursday at 9 o'clock for R&B therapy, where we have some musical therapy with classic R&B joints from back in the days. 9 o'clock right here with your boy Papa Keith live. All right. So until next time.
Okay. Nice meeting y'all. Bye, guys.